Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. Well, today we're going to have a chat about a particular cultural opposite that you find in Thailand compared to the West. And that is the child supporting the family in Thailand. You look to the right, that's Big Buddha up there. This is Pratamnak Road. And we've returned left down Kassetsin Road. The middle road opposite is the way up to the viewpoint, and we're going to go up to the viewpoint, have a wander around while we have a chat about this subject, which is like very interesting, and a lot of people don't understand it. But before we do that, one quick word. I just wanted you guys to know that YT are suppressing many patio channels these days on purpose and unsubbing people. So please check that you're still subscribed, and please share this video with friends who you maybe think didn't get their notification. Okay guys, thanks a lot. Okay, let's get on with the chat. To begin to understand the reasons for children being expected to help support the family, first you have to appreciate there are huge cultural differences between Thailand and the West, particularly with regard to poverty. And the great majority of Thai people are not wealthy, not even middle class. They're what you would class in the West as poor. And of that poor majority, half of them are dirt poor. They live in timber shacks or concrete block or corrugated steel shacks. That's where the whole family live in one room. This is what you have in Thailand, in places like Isan, which is in the northeast of Thailand. Also, in Thailand, the state pension is so pitiful it's a joke. And there's no social security. There is free medical care, but that's all. There's no social security. Now, if you know anything about the history of your own country, you should be aware that about 100 years ago or so, families lived in extended families in the West, where the grandparents were looked after by the family. Well, that is still the case here in Thailand. The younger members of the family are totally brainwashed and pre-programmed from birth to believe that they have a permanent, lifelong obligation to help the family financially. Of course, this mindset is only with the great majority of poor Thais, not the very few wealthy ones. So if you take that concept of pre-programming to the children to provide money for the family to its logical conclusion, then it's to the poor family's benefit to have as many children as possible. Well, that's exactly what has happened for years in Thailand. And if you know your own family history, it used to happen in the West too. For example, my grandmother had 8 children, but my mother only had 2. Things changed in the West, but they have not changed here yet. They are beginning to, and the birth rate is falling, but they have still not fully changed. Now, an example of this is my hairdresser friend, who you guys all know has a shop in Pattaya. Now, she had to leave school at the age of 12 because she had to start work to provide money for the family. She started working in a hairdresser's, cleaning the floor, washing towels and cleaning stuff at the age of 12. And she was paid 200 baht a day, which was quite generous in those days, which is about $6 a day for a 12-hour day. So that's about 50 cents an hour she was paid, but the family wanted the money. I'm telling you this stuff so you really understand how deep the brainwashing is. This pre-programmed obligation to provide money for the family is a lifelong commitment. Another example of children working for the family is, maybe some of you guys remember this, but about 10 years ago, there was a guy on Walking Street, Thai man, whose daughter was a contortionist, and she used to sit on a table and twist her body into all different crazy shapes. Do you remember that? And the father would take money from passers-by. Of course, that was about 10 years ago. I mean, she was about 10 years old then, so she's probably about 20 now. I mean, they haven't been around for years, but that's just how it used to be, and still is to a degree. Another example is the people who beg. They send their children around, and you see them in the streets even today. They have little plastic containers, and they're given to tiny children, 6, 7 years old, and they're begging in the streets, working for the family. And that is still the case now. And included in the brainwashing when the children are small is the fact that the family comes first. This follows them through their entire life. So even if you marry a Thai girl, her family still comes first, before her husband. That's the way. It's opposite to the West. Thai parents drum into their children that they owe their parents everything, their very existence, their upbringing, the clothes on the back, the food that keeps them alive for all the years when they were younger until they're old enough to start paying that debt back by working and providing money for the family. It can be by nefarious means as well, not just regular work, you know. And this family obligation not only applies to parents, it also applies to siblings. Younger siblings these days need to have school fees paid for them because the parents won't have the money. I mean, I've known several girls who work in bars here who pay the school fees for their younger siblings so that they won't have to go and do what they do and work in a bar. They can go and get a decent job. Now, if you, as a Western man, decide to have a long-term or permanent relationship or even marry a Thai girl, then you will discover this obligation. You may try to explain that's not the way it's done in the West, but your words will fall on deaf ears. The brainwashing is too deep. And if you marry the girl, then you're part of the family. So you're included in the obligation. Your funds are a legitimate source of income for the family. If you happen to be wealthy, you probably won't have a problem with that, but an awful lot of guys do. And it stops many guys from getting married or even having a permanent relationship. Now, some parents take advantage of this situation. I've known girls who have mothers who are gambling addicts and who are asking for money constantly to pay gambling debts. And then there are fathers who give up work and just spend all day with their friends, relaxing, talking, drinking whiskey and smoking. And don't ever believe the BS that these girls tell you about their parents don't know what they do when they work in bars. They think they work like 7-Eleven, but they're sending home 3 times the wage of a 7-Eleven person every month. Doesn't make any sense, does it? In many cases, this obligation is the fundamental driver behind all of the scams which you have with girls. You know what I'm talking about. So if you're getting excessive monetary demands from your lady, now you understand part of where it comes from. It's not her greed, it can be with some girls, but the obligation really is the family's greed in many cases. Yeah? Okay, guys, it's now story time. But before story time, let me just ask you one favor. If you're at all curious about Patreon, guys, have a look at Instagram. It's got free clips from Patreon. The link to Instagram is below, and so is the link to Patreon. If you want to have a look, or you can just write on Google search Everything Patty at Patreon. Okay, guys? Okay, let's get on with the story. Now, I have a short story for you, something which happened to me last week. Now, I was in a dancing bar, we'll call it, just off Walking Street. And there's a girl there who is one of the top earners, who I've chatted to before, and this time she opened up to me a little more about her future plans. And she said she was going to live in America. I said, how are you going to do that? She said she had an American boyfriend who she had met while dancing in this bar. So I asked if she knew where in America he was from, and she said California. And I said, does he still live in California, or does he now live here? And she said, no, he lives in California, because that's where I want to go and live with him. I don't want to spend the next few years dancing in Pattaya. I want to go to live in America. So I asked if he sends her money. And she said, yes, he sends her 50,000 baht a month, which is about $1,500. So I said, if he's sending you that much money, why are you still working here? And she said, oh, I told him I only do dancing, nothing else. No bar finding. I only dance to make money for the family. So I said, is he okay with that? And she says, yes, he's okay as long as I don't bar fine. Now, just out of interest, about 95 or more % of the guys in this particular dancing bar were, in my view, probably Korean or Chinese. I think I was the only Westerner. So we continued talking, general chit-chat, and then she went to dance. So I waited, and she came back, and I bought her another couple of drinks. Then I thought I would actually test her out to see if she was telling me the truth. So I said to her, how would you like me to bar fine you? Then she looked at me and said, are you from America? I said, no, I'm not American. I'm from England. Oh, she said, that's okay then, because you won't know my boyfriend. Usually I only bar fine with Koreans, because they definitely won't know him. But if you're from England, I think it'll be okay. I'm sure you won't know him. So, okay, yes, we can do that, no problem. We can bar fine tonight. Do you want me to go get changed now? To which I said, no, I don't mean tonight. I had to back off a bit because she was quite keen. I said, I have to go and meet some friends tonight, but I can come back later in the week. Okay, she said. And we discussed some prices and things, and then I paid the bill and left. Not to return. This is Thailand. That's how trustworthy these girls are in the dancing bars. Okay, guys. Anyway, just a little funny one that happened last week. So, I hope you enjoyed the explanation about the families and how things are. And also, please don't forget to check you're still subscribed. And check with your friends, anyone you know, if they're still subscribed, because they are doing unsubbing. Really, they are. Okay. Right. Thank you very much for watching, guys, and shall see you on the next video.